Thank you for joining me today on Meals with Myra, Main Course and Discourse. I am here today with Daniel Ramirez, co-CEO of Los Dos Potrillos. Today we are going to be making margaritas and tacos, but before we get into it, tell me, Danny, do you like to cook?
You know what? I love to cook. I mean, it's honestly one of my favorite things to do, especially since I own Mexican restaurants. I have to learn how to cook, and I have to be able to, just in the sense, because if someone just walks out, guess who's back there? It's gonna be me. So of course, I love it. I love to enjoy it with my family, but I also love to enjoy it with people like you, Myra. So yes.
I love that. So what's your favorite meal to make?
Kind of depends on the day.
Okay.
Depends on the day. It depends on how long it's been. If I want a more of a hearty, big stuff meal, I'm gonna make, a number 23, which we have in our Mexican restaurant. It's a Mexican hamburger. Two patties smothered with green chili, in a open-faced tortilla, and it's just smothered with our cheese, lettuce, tomatoes. It's just phenomenal. But if it's something more light, some tacos. You can never go wrong with tacos. Tacos is what makes the world go around. That's what I love to say.
It truly does. We celebrate Taco Tuesday every Tuesday here in this house. So
Perfect.
We love to make tacos.
Love it.
With that said, when we make tacos, I always like to have a margarita in hand. So we're gonna start off by making our margaritas, and I keep my margaritas very simple and very clean. I only have 4 ingredients in it. So I put tequila, simple syrup, a little bit of orange juice, and lime.
Love it. Where'd you find this recipe?
I actually got it from the Ondas at in Hawaii, in Maui. So they kept theirs really clean. I took a mixology class. Yeah. It was so much fun. I learned a lot about tequila and like how it's processed and how it's made and everything. But I love the recipe. They did not use orange.
That's the Myra. That's a little thing that's you can't be telling anybody.
I know.
Right?
It's a secret. I know. So all right. So I'm gonna start us off with some margaritas.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna put some ice in our mixer. How do you make your margaritas, Danny?
It's pretty simple. For me, again, I like to keep mine very simple as well, right? You do a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of agave, of course, the tequila, and what we use is a Citron's orange, or a orange liqueur. So very similar to how you use your orange juice, we use an orange liqueur on our side. What we like to call ours is the Los Dos Potrillos skinny margarita, and it's literally just a blanco, tequila, lime juice, agave, a orange liqueur, and that's it. You shake it up, make it nice and refreshing, and that's it. Enjoy. Very similar to yours.
That sounds so delicious on like a nice warm afternoon.
What more can you ask for, right?
Exactly.
On a rooftop patio, watching the skyline, the Denver skyline. I mean, are we so lucky?
We are so
to live
lucky.
In Colorado, because think of it. Being in Colorado, it could be snowing one day. You can have a margarita then because it just sounds good, but then the next day it could be 70 degrees and that margarita is still going to taste just as great. It's amazing.
Is so true.
It's so good.
It's so true. You can be on the slopes, stop and get a margarita.
Exactly.
Or you can be like on Lake Dillon and just have a margarita.
100%.
It's amazing.
100%. We live in the best state in the world.
We do. We do. The most beautiful state, I feel like. So, okay. So now that we have the margaritas made, they're ready to be shaken. But before we do you prefer tahini or salt?
For me, I definitely prefer the tahini.
Me too. I love tahini. It is my
good.
favorite. Yes. I had a friend, she turned me on to this, and it has been my most favorite.
Yeah, and I grew up with this actually, and especially we always used to go to Mexico all the time. And everything in Mexico is like all the little candies. It's like the little mangoes with the watermelon. Everything is with tahini. Like my little boy right now loves it. He goes to the office like, Papa, I want the spicy lollipop.
Oh,
and it's just like, it's so cool to kind of see him starting to understand and him loving tahini, because we can put it on the fruit, we can put it on margaritas. Honestly, maybe it's just one of these cool little tactics that they created. It's like, you're going to like it as a kid, so you're going to like it even better as an adult, especially with tequila. Right? So who knows what they're doing. Their marketing is genius. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that is so cute. I didn't know little Danny loved it too.
Oh, he loves it.
Okay, so you've been in Denver for quite some time. Yeah. How long have you lived here?
So I was actually born and raised.
Oh,
Born and raised in Denver, Colorado. My parents came over from Mexico to create a better living for themselves, right? The American dream. My mother was from a family of 8. And my father was from a family of 15.
Wow, okay. Not many people can say that they're natives.
Not many people.
So, well, cheers. You'll have to let me know.
Salud.
What's your salud?
Delicious.
I love the tahini.
Delicious. That tahini, especially with that orange at the end, really complements everything very well together.
It does. It
very,
absolutely
very well.
does.
That is delicious.
Okay, so tell me, how did your dad, Jose, come up with the name Los Dos Potrillos?
Yeah, so we always, when we were born, we would always go to Zacatecas. So Zacatecas is the state where my family's from. Jerez is a small little city. And we would always drive down there every summer. And when we would drive down there, I mean, it's a 24-hour drive. It takes forever to get down there. So as us being little kids, when we would get to my grandparents' house, we always used to get out, like, hey, we want to get out, because we saw, you know, Itonita's casa, which is, you know, our grandparents, abuelito and abuelita's casa. Like, we saw it, like, we just wanted to get out. We would get out, and my brother and I started playing in their garden. And, you know, we would just create havoc as little kids, pushing the pots around, you know, just being kids. And my grandfather actually said, Jose Luis, controla tus dos potrillos, which means, Jose, control your two colts, your two potrillos. And my dad was like, Dos Potrillos. He's like, I like that name. He's like, if I ever open up a restaurant, he wanted to call it Mis Dos Potrillos, my two colts.
Okay.
So then he started to realize that it's better to say Los Dos Potrillos, the two colts. So whenever you go to one of our stores, you see the two horses. One's darker than the other. My brother is naturally darker than I am, so that's why you have two horses. One's a little bit lighter than the other. So literally the darker one is Luis and the lighter one is me.
Oh, that is amazing. I never knew the story behind that. So that is so sweet, and that's so special to have that part of your family.
Oh, it's so great.
Okay, so we're going to start you on tacos, but before we do, so your father, he was lucky number 7
he
of
was.
15 kids.
15 kids.
Yes, and so, and like you said, he started working at a young age. I believe he was a bag boy at 13.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yep. So funny story about this. He went to this grocery store and he applied for a job. And the guy was like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 13. He's like, oh, come back when you're 14. You're too young. This was like in February. His birthday's not till August. He came in that next week and was like, hey, I'm 14. I'm ready to work. I said, okay, perfect. Then they gave him the job right away.
Oh, I love that. And it was in the Highlands. It was a store in the Highlands.
Yeah, in the Highlands. Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, the Highlands, the Rhino, like whatever the Highlands use. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what the store was called?
I don't. I forgot. I forgot what that store is called.
I wonder if it's still around.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt it, but I mean, there's so many good stories about that. You know, when I still remember he tells this story all the time. He was growing. I mean, he worked. He made enough money to build his own bike. And he was so proud of it. He would ride his bike to school, not to school, to his work. And then this one time, he actually got beat up. They took his bike.
Oh no!
It was so terrible. It was so terrible. But he always tells us that story to say, like, you know, never think you're always better than anybody else, right? Never think that you're always at the top. Never think that you don't stink for anything, right? Because you always have to stay humble, right? And I think that was one of a good moment for him, because I think he was flying high. He felt like he was, you know, pounding his chest, and he always brings that back to us now, which we now relay back to our kids, and of course even to our company. Yeah, it's those values. It doesn't matter. Los Dos Potrillos, they talk about us. It doesn't matter, right? Let's continue to stay humble. Let's just continue being who we are and do what we do best, and that's so nice.
I love that.
Yeah,
that is so special, and that is so sweet, and that just really makes just the environment of the restaurant just extra special and really takes it to the next level. So I love that that's carried on through not only the family but also the restaurant. Jose opened his first restaurant in 2002.
Yep.
And how much money did he have in the bank when he opened that first restaurant?
$5.18 left in his bank account.
$5.18.
Yeah.
Wow. I can only imagine what your mom and your dad must have been going through at that time, looking at their bank account, looking at $5.18.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, my father said, look, if it doesn't work, I can always go back to serving. If it doesn't work, I can go back to busing. If it doesn't work, I can go back to managing. That's why he was so confident. And everyone asked him, like, Jose, why are you going to open up a restaurant in the suburbs? There's no Mexican food people there. There's Mexican people. There's no Mexican food there. So you got to open up in the Denver area. My dad's like, no, that's the reason why I want to go there, because no one has tasted our food. No one understands what our food is. So that's why he wanted to go down in the suburbs. And when we opened the first restaurant, oh my goodness, it was fluorescent lights. It was barbecue tables. Some of the ugliest decor we ever had. Like, We didn't even have our liquor license yet. You know, as restaurant kids, I mean, we ate there, we slept there, we had our birthday parties there, we had our weekends there. Like we didn't, like we lived in the restaurant.
How old were you when you opened up this first restaurant?
9 years old.
9, okay.
Yep, I was 9 years old.
You really cut your teeth in restaurants. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, that was my life. And to an extent, like honestly, I can't say I hated it, but I wasn't a fan of it because I was always there.
Yeah.
But I knew one day I would be back. One day, I didn't know, because anything that I wanted, anything that I had to do, I had to work for it. If I wanted a PlayStation, or if I wanted the PSPs back in the day, PlayStation Portable, I still remember, it was like, okay, work. I wanted a GoPed. Okay, work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what it was. And at that young of age, that's what made me learn what that work ethic was, is being there, understanding, knowing what a dollar meant.
Yeah.
And what it was used for. So that was my life in that sense.
Your dad really taught you some lifelong skills.
He did.
That you will use and carry on to your own children.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because a lot of people don't have those skills. So
right, and I mean, it's that skill, but it's also the restaurant industry. It's an extent. Like I always feel like everyone should always work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Always, right? At a young age, you learn how to communicate with somebody. You learn how to make someone happy, and you also learn really quickly how to make someone mad. Yeah. If you don't say something right?
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a good point.
And you learn right away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you want to be a CEO, if you want to be whatever you want to be. It's the same life skills that you get to be in front of somebody else interacting all day, every day. And you get to work as a team with other people. Yeah. You learn that very quickly. So it's life skills in general, but it's just also the things that he taught me I want to continue creating for my kids, but not only for their kids, but also for all my 390 employees that I have.
Yeah.
As well.
And it's funny you say that, like never would I have thought that like the restaurant industry would teach you so many different life skills, but listening to your story, it really does, because you're dealing with so many different parts of life and how life functions, and you're exposed to so many wonderful things. So that's
in different personalities.
Which that the world is made up of that.
And you have no idea the people that walk into your restaurant, what they're going through, what they had going on that day. And you might be able to make their day, or maybe sometimes you even make their day worse because you got something wrong, right? Like that's what makes it a little challenging. But majority of the time, it's, man, Los Dos is that family meal that this is what I needed. Yeah. This is the margarita that I needed. It's really like soulful country food. It's really that comfort food that you need after a long day or after a celebration. Yeah. Right? Food is really what makes the world go around.
It really does.
That's what it is.
Brings us together. That's it. The food has always brought my family together. So absolutely. So last question before we get started on the tacos. So the recipes at Los Dos, are those all family recipes?
Every single one of them. Oh. Every single one of them. I can't say that, look, we found this chef, and this chef, we got together in this big warehouse corporation and he created this dish for us. And we said, we really like this, let's take this recipe. No, every single recipe comes from my mother, my father, my grandmother, my godmother, everything. Generation of generation from the La Ramirez and Delgado family recipes.
I love that. And your family will just be able to carry it down for many years
generation to generation.
Yeah, generation to generation.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, let's get started on the taco meat. So I'll have you start on that. I'm going to drink my margarita.
Love it.
I'm
going to bring my margarita with me as well, because I can drink on the job today, and that's a good thing.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. What are some of your favorite responsibilities, your favorite things that you do as co-CEO?
My favorite thing is I get to help people create the best version of themselves. That is my favorite thing. You come and work for, we're Ramirez Hospitality Group. We've Los Dos Potrillos, but I've created this umbrella of what RHG is really about. And, it was a good conversation today I was having with an employee, and like we were doing this session of a whiteboard session. She's like, this is really like class. Like, this is class. I'm like, exactly. Because this isn't just a part-time job. This isn't just a job. This is a career. And this is what Ramirez Hospitality Group is. We want to make this a career for you.
So I love that you brought up the Ramirez Hospitality Group. So it's not just Los Dos Potrillos. Tell us more about would you say RHG?
RHG, yes. So RHG was created, based off, our fundamental, practice of who we are and what my father's really done. And I've kind of been able to scale to where we are today. Now, underneath the Ramirez Hospitality Group you have Los Dos Potrillos, You have Los Dos Potrillos Cerveceria, which we're a brewery. We make our own beer as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I'm going to come to your brewery. That's
so
awesome.
It's awesome. We have Los Dos Potrillos Express, which is a food truck. Los Dos Potrillos Los Tacos, which is another fun concept, which is it's like a food truck, but it's more of an interactive, like at your house food truck. It's not like a food truck where you go outside and you order. We actually bring the kitchen operations to your backyard, to the front yard, to wherever. So it makes it feel like when you're in Mexico and you're ordering a couple tacos, you're right there. That's exactly the feel we want. And then, of course, we have our newest concept that we're opening is Cocina Cantina, which is the Los Potrillos Cocina Cantina. It's our first counter service fast casual concept, and it's underneath Ramirez Hospitality Group. Like, really what I'm banking on for this concept is take it national. This concept, I really feel like I need to continue creating this impossible dream and vision for my parents. All they thought was one restaurant, maybe two. That was it.
And
that's all they thought.
5 locations.
5 locations with a 6th coming on the way. So I feel like we finally hit this curve where we're like, okay, we can open. Yeah. Right? With Ramirez Hospitality Group, being able to I created an HR department, compliance department, with my assistants that are in there as well, assisting them. So, I've always said the bigger we get, the smaller we have to become.
Right.
It's like, what does that mean? Right? It's like, we look super big on the outside, like, man, it looks big, but we're super tight in the inside, knowing that we know our operations, we know what we're doing, we know, the ins and the outs of how our business runs. And that's the most important thing, because if you scale too fast, you miss that super important, I guess, secret sauce. And that is never forgetting where you came from and how you got there.
So tell me a little bit about the difference between Tex-Mex and you guys.
Great question. Tex-Mex, I don't know, right? It's funny. I think you might get a kick out of this. So, at my new store, I put a saying. In Texas, they say Tex-Mex. In Colorado, they say Los Dos.
Oh, I like that. I will say, trying all the different. Not that I've tried all the different Mexican restaurants here in Colorado, but I have tried quite a few. Yours is my favorite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And that says a lot because I'm
for
very
being from Texas,
picky
you should be
about my Mexican food.
Yeah.
So.
What really kind of sets us apart from Tex-Mex is, I think we take pride in our quality.
Yeah.
You have a lot of big national chains, and they might be like, oh man, this is a really a little bit cumin in there. Really soft, piece of meat, but it's really not that good of a quality if it's that soft, right? Because they inject it with a gelatin, and that's what makes it super soft, and it's just not as good. But for us, it's like, no, we don't want to inject anything in it. We don't. We want to keep
injecting
keep
gelatin in their meat.
It's a sorts of gelatin. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a marinade. And that's what makes it super weirdly soft. Right? Like they might be like, oh, this is a real soft piece of meat, but it's a super cheap quality of meat.
Yeah.
But they're finding ways to say, hey, we would like what we always like to say, we're not gonna cut a corner to save a buck.
No.
Never. We always like to do great quality food and great quality recipes. And that's the difference between us and Tex-Mex, right? Yeah. No offense to Tex-Mex, and Texas. We don't mess with Texas, right? That's a big thing. Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess with Lone Star State.
Exactly. But that's what I like to say. They can have their Tex-Mex, especially in Texas, but in Colorado, people say Los Dos.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, how's that taco meat coming along?
It's coming good. For me, I like it a little bit more, I guess, would you say, bigger chunks instead of more mashed. That's kind of how I like mine, because if you mash it a little bit too much, then that's where you end up actually losing a lot of that juice. So for me, it's like, you kind of just mash it little by little. I love cooking this at home. I actually do it with buffalo. You end up smashing it all up a lot really fast, and then that's when it starts to really pile up with a lot of that the moisture, and you lose the flavor and the tenderness out of that. So
if you need someone to be a sampler.
Ooh, I know I got a big list right now, but you know what? You will make the top because we're on the show. You will be. You'll
okay,
be,
cheers to that.
You'll be first on the line when that happens. All right.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start making our tacos.
Yep, perfect.
thank you so much for making the tacos. I really appreciate that. It's such a sweet treat for me. So thank you.
It's an honor. It's an honor, honestly.
Before we dive in, can you tell me, is there anything new and exciting that you want the viewers to know?
Definitely new and exciting, you know, with our new concept opening up, the Cocina Cantina, the fast casual concept, like I was explaining it to you. It's the new generation of Mexican restaurants. You know, that's what we like to call it. You know, we might be the first right now pioneering it, but we're not going to be the last. So come try 120th and I-25, you know, Los Dos Potrillos Cocina Cantina. It's phenomenal.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to try it. You know, maybe I will get that invite to the soft opening.
Oh, you definitely will get the invite.
If we could. So we've talked a lot about the family history of the business and what you're doing now, but do you hope that one day your kids will take over the business?
I do and I don't.
Okay.
You know, it's a great question. You know, at the end of the day, I want my son and my future daughter to come in and be able to work at the restaurant. You know, sometimes, you know, I think of like, you know, it'll be better for them if they worked at another restaurant so they understand and appreciate when they do come and work for a Los Dos, or I guess take over it. You start from the bottom. You start as a dishwasher. You start as a prep. As you start as a bar back. You start as a host. You know, and if you want to get more into the corporate side of things, you have to go to college and leave and come back. You just can't. I just can't say, hey, here are the keys, because you won't know how to appreciate it. You have to leave. Once you leave, then you come back, and then you'll be ready to take on the business. So I do want them, but I also don't want them to go right away. So I want them to understand what the outside world has as well.
Having worked all these different positions, do you have a favorite position other than what you're doing now?
Oh, that's a great question. I would have to say, you know, the griddle. You're just in your zone. You're in your own vibe, and that's it. It's the hardest position, but it's the most active position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get some peace and tranquility out of the activity of it?
Of course. You know, out of anything, right? Like whether it's that, whether it's coming home and smelling like a burrito, like it's funny to say it's a piece of tranquility, because I like to say like, hey, my father did it. Yeah. You know, I come home smelling like a burrito. I'm like, man, wow, what a day. Yeah. What a day. And it's just a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My father did it, why can't I? Yeah. You know, my father started, so why can't, you know, why not me? He always just said, why not me, why not me? And now that I have a team, it's like, why not us? We can do it. Yeah. Why not us?
I love that philosophy.
Yeah.
I love that way of looking at life. Okay, so if somebody has never been to a Los Dos restaurant, what would you recommend that they order? So
first of all, I would say welcome home, because this is becoming your new home. Mm-hmm. And the moment you walk into these Los Dos doors, you already become a member of our family. So you walk in, you get your name on the list. You're gonna probably have a wait. It's a good thing. And you go to the bar. Hey, what do you recommend? Always go for either A, the house margarita, stellar.
What's in the house?
You can't go wrong. It's just a normal tequila with we don't do any sweet and sour. It's a concentrate, it's a lime concentrate. So it's nice, refreshing, a little bit of salt in the rim, iced, perfect. Or you just go with a regular skinny. You know, you can't go wrong with that. But if you feel a little bit more adventurous and you want to be more of a foodie, your first time there, you get the margarita tree.
What's the margarita tree?
So we're the only ones in the state of Colorado that have Patron personalized, like with the Patron tree, that has little margaritas on a tree.
No way!
Yeah, it's like a tall, like it's like this tall. Like there's four
How
margaritas.
Many okay, 4 on it.
4 margaritas, and
I'm getting that next time.
We have the strawberry basil.
Okay.
The signature, which is just a normal margarita with a double barrel tequila. We have a mezcal one, which is with pineapple. And then we have the strawberry basil, and then el pepino, which is just a cucumber margarita.
I got all my favorites.
It's the best.
I'm gonna love this tree.
So
this is gonna be like
the tree is the greatest
life.
thing. So if that's when you want to be more adventurous, you know, foodie. Then your table's up, buzzes. You sit down at the table. Man, this is an extensive menu. But since it's your first time there, you start off with the chile relleno nachos. Chile relleno nachos is one of the things that, you know, you might see, some people might have had it, but my father and a gentleman named Paul and my godmother actually created the chile relleno nachos 26 years ago.
What's all on it?
So it's simple. All it is, it's 3 chile rellenos, crispy, chopped up, smothered in our house green chili, and garnish with pico de gallo, of course, with cheese, melted cheese. You know, we put the chips on the side. You put a chip, eat it. It's phenomenal. You start off with the chili relleno nachos. Now for your main course, you know, you can't go wrong with a burrito. You have the shredded beef. It's phenomenal. But let's say you want to go with someone. You know, let's share like a meal. Or, you know, if you're adventurous, you get the molcajete.
What's
Molcajete is back then molcajete is just it's a lava rock. That's where they make, you know, guacamole, salsas, things like that. But the way we do it is we heat the molcajete up so it gets super hot. So it's a lava rock, so it's getting super hot. We put our American Wagyu steak. We put our awesome, nice, little, great quality chicken breast. We put a pork adobada cutlet in there. We put cactus in it. We put Mexican onions in it. And then we put 2 nice blocks of Monterey Jack cheese that start melting. And then we smother it with green chili. Or you can do any other sauce you want. But when it comes out to your table, it's just molten lava, like just boiling, bubbling. You know, all these flavors mixing together in one. It's just phenomenal. You do a great little cheese pull with the steak. And then you gotta combine, you know, all of our stores have homemade tortillas, so corn and flour. So then you get yourself a nice little flour tortilla, put it on there, make it into a burrito, and enjoy it. Now, if you have extra room for dessert, you gotta go with the sopapilla bites.
Oh, I love sopapilla bites.
Sopapilla bites,
so delicious.
phenomenal. So we make the dough in-house. Everything's made in-house. So we make them, we fry them, we cut them up, and then we get this awesome honey. That's a local honey guy. And, you know, Mr. Watson, he gets his honey from his bee farm, and it's just phenomenal. Everything together with powdered sugar. But let's say, hey, you have a little bit of leftover, right? So the next day, what you do with that molcajete, you reheat it, and then you put some eggs on top, and you got Los Dos for 2 days.
There you go.
It's the best thing.
That.
I just walked you through exactly what I would recommend at Los Dos Potrillos.
I love that. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
100%.
That's amazing. Oh, next time I'm there, I want to eat with you. I just want
Let's
you
do
to
it.
order for
100%.
us. So
We'll definitely do it.
Delicious. All right. Well,
Perfect.
Danny, thank you so much for joining me
thank
today with
you.
Meals on Myra, main course and discourse. I really appreciate you taking the time to come here to have margaritas and make tacos with me, or make tacos for me. Thank you. But it's been wonderful getting to know you and getting to know the history of Los Dos and just the Ramirez Hospitality Group and what the company's all about. I love the foundation of family that is so important to the company, because there's so many companies out there where family is not top priority. And I love to hear that for the Ramirez Hospitality Group. That is the #1 priority. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Washy, washy, wash.